Bob Hope, Memories of World War II.
Algiers, 1943. Dear Bob, what a boost those laughs are to us over here. You made more friends than any man can ever hope to make, and to keep them too.
It was a big thrill for me to hear the guys laughing their heads off at your jokes. It really brought us home as we sat on our ship right there in the middle of a damn big ocean, seaman first class.
Hey, Bob, you mean more to us than being able to go through the chow line twice.
We were coming back from a raid on Germany when I tuned into one of your programs. It was a godsend, Bob, and there's not a guy on the squadron who didn't feel safe and relieved just hearing your familiar voice. We laughed until the fear was all gone, and thanks for the memory was like welcome home.
Dear Mr. Hope, the Women's Air Force Service pilots say thanks for the pat on the back. It meant a lot.
Dear Bob, the Army nurses appreciate the tribute from last week's program. Thanks.
Here in the hospital ward, men with casts all over their bodies listened to your radio show. We laughed and roared after each joke, then silence, waiting for your voice to make us laugh again.
Hey, Bob, all I want is a date with you when I get back. The laughs I'd get then would make up for all that I have missed over here.
Iwo Jima, 1944. Bob, you know how damn lonely we get. Thanks for being with me.
I'll never forget those guys. Those words, those faces, that laughter. I've received thousands of letters from them and their relatives. And believe me, I've treasured all of them. You know, it's been 50 years since the end of World War II. The war started for me in 1939. Dolores and I were on vacation in Europe when the embassy notified us that we better get home right away. We were lucky to get aboard the Queen Mary because it was packed. We heard on the ship's loudspeaker that England was at war with Germany. The ship was crowded with frightened people. It didn't take long to realize that the Queen Mary was a perfect target for German submarines. The atmosphere was tense. We later learned that Hitler had offered $250,000 for any U-boat commander that could sink us. $300,000 if I was aboard. The night before we landed, the captain came to me and said, we want you to do a ship's concert. I said, no way. Everybody's worried about everything. They're all crying and they're sitting around. I said, not me. But Harry Warner was on the thing and he said, Bob, this is a chance for you to do something good. I don't know what he meant by that. I said, okay. So I did the ship's concert. So I wrote some special lyrics and sang, say thanks for the memory of this great ocean trip on England's finest ship. Though they packed them to the rafters, they never made a slip. And thank you so much. And thanks for the memory. Some slept on the floor, some in the corridor. But I was very lucky my room had gentlemen above the door. So thank you so much. They gave that out to every passenger when we got to New York. So I became famous. When our relatives met us, they told us that the Queen Mary's sister ship, the Athenia, had been sunk. They'd been so worried about us. When we finally got on shore, we were shocked to find out that Hitler had been marching through Europe. He took almost anything he wanted. Hitler then announced he was going to invade the British Islands. Pretty frightening. President Roosevelt promised to keep us out of the war, so I continued to do my radio show every Tuesday night for Pepsodent.
The Pepsodent Show, starring Bob Hope. We bid you all hello, and welcome to our show. May we present for Pepsodent a guy you want to know.
Thank you so much. This is Bob Auto Show Hope telling you that if you shift to Pepsodent, your teeth will never give you the willies and you'll always have something to gnash.
We had regulars like Francis Langford and old brushmouth Jerry Colonna.
Hurry up, Professor, or we'll miss the train.
Okay, here's the truck, Hope. First, I'll load on your suitcases. I'll get down on my knees. You pile them up on my back.
Okay, Colonna.
That's right. Now, put them up one on top of the other. Don't be afraid. Put them all on there, Hope. Keep piling them up.
There you are, Cloney. You're down on your knees with 12 suitcases on your back. What are you going to do now?
Well, I'll try to move forward. I'll try to move backward. I'll try to move sideways. Well, no sense wasting a position like this. Get out the dice.
I want to tell you, they were a sensational audience. March Field was the start of over 300 camp shows all around the country. Here I am with Bing.
The girls in the chorus prepared a little of a number.
I used to find out the name of the commanding officer and then also the name of the local hangouts and work them in my routine. Boys loved it.
Colonel Robertson's birthday. It's a thrill to be here. Did we cut that in? We did that earlier. Colonel Robertson. Remember, he grabbed a quick kiss from Hedda Hopper. That's right. He got it. That's right. He did. Is that why you were born? Don't get ahead of me, you guys.
That's the first time we had ever done a show for the military. And I must say, it was just tremendous.
Yeah.
And you said, well, it went so well, maybe we ought to keep it together. And we did. I think it lasted 5 years, so it was pretty good.
Those are 5 of the most memorable years of my life, I won't tell you that. Suddenly, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, and we were in the thick of it. We all hoped we could avoid going to war, but not after this.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
None of us will ever forget where we were and what we were doing at that terrible moment. I was on my way to Lakeside to play a little golf. Then I heard the president announce, "We're now at war." Bing and I wanted to sign up, but the government said, "Nope, just keep doing what you're doing."
Fellow Americans, I ask you to demonstrate again your faith in America by joining me in investing in the new defense savings bonds and stamps.
So I jumped right on the savings bond bandwagon.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is Bob's 7th War Loan Hope, telling you to buy those bonds, get that load off your hips, and when the war is over, your pocketbook will be in the chips.
Bob, I found this wonderful old album, and I think you'll get a big kick out of some of these pictures. I've got some things here from the Victory Caravan.
Oh, boy.
This is just great. Look at this photo. That's Cagney, Jimmy Cagney, and you. Look at you. That's wonderful. And this is beautiful. Look at here. Beautiful Claudette Colbert. And Claudette is reading a paper. It says something about Caravan Stars Thrill 19,000. Now here's one. Bob, this is the Hollywood Canteen.
Oh, boy, what a spot that was.
Isn't that great?
You know, we entertained military from all over the country, and all the stars used to show up there, dance with them and everything. It was wonderful. Servicemen and women couldn't wait to get there. Some of the biggest stars performed. Soldiers and sailors got to dance with some of their favorites. There was good food, loud music, and great time. As the fighting in Europe and the Pacific increased, more and more fighting men shipped out. With so many of the young men gone, the American women had to enter the battle on the home front.
They went to work in the factories and learned new skills. And they still managed to raise their families and build the ships and planes that the men flew.
They did a great job.
And you know, we all tried to do our part, Bob. I joined the American Women's Voluntary Service.
That was really something. You didn't retouch it, did you?
During World War II, there was a battle on the home front, too. The tussle with ration books, tokens, and stamps. Supplies were short, and everything from shoes to gasoline was doled out. No stamps, no soap.
Everyone is talking about the rubber shortage, and you have to be awfully careful these days. They'll steal anything that's made of rubber. Today, I saw one of the dead-end kids rolling a new tire past my house, so I said, "What did you take for that tire?" He said, "I don't know. What did you pay for it?"
Overseas, there was another shortage. Entertainment. In shows produced in Hollywood by Armed Forces Radio, shows like Command Performance, Mail Call, and Jubilee. Hollywood's greatest talent got together to do their best. All the Hollywood stars were ready to answer the GI's requests.
This weekly radio program is governed by your letters. Joe Jeep commands in the War Department of Bays. Anything from a song by Judy Garland to the sizzling sound of a sirloin steak. As this program is being performed in a Hollywood studio, a master recording is made from which transcripts will be shipped to Army and government-operated stations all over the world. Strictly for you men overseas, no matter how small your outfit. Your commanding officer of this command performance, your old sidekick, and chief scout of the Wolf Patrol, Bob Hope.
Thank you. How do you do, fellas? This is Bob. This is Bob, Command Performance Hope, telling each Nazi that's in Russia today that Crimea doesn't pay. But I had a swell time, and I slept right in the barracks last night with the boys. You know what barracks are. That's 2,000 cots separated by individual crap games.
I remember some of the shows we sent out to the troops around the world. Here's one of Jubilee.
Mother says it's in the gruel. Daddy says it's hot. Backwards, it spells Elabooze. Now, brethren, what have you got? You've got Jubilee!
And speaking for the gang with us tonight, and for all the guys and gals who come down here to Command Performance every week, I want you to know we consider it a privilege to knock out these programs and try to make life just a little brighter for you. I've talked to lots of you guys in the field, and I gather that the Armed Forces radio shows mean a lot to you. Believe me, they mean a lot to us performers, too. So just keep your requests coming by letter, postcard, V-mail, or put a note in a bottle and drop it overboard. We'll get it somehow and shoot your requests right back. If you haven't got time to write, stick your thumbprint on a friend's letter so we'll know you're all thinking of us, will you?
Bob, you said it really isn't enough just sending records overseas for the boys to hear.
Yeah, so I said, we ought to go. We boarded the plane and headed for London. We spent several weeks there playing for both the Yanks and the Brits. We played the Royal Albert Hall, which is a big thrill for this hometown boy. We played as many hospitals and bases around England and Wales as we could. We entertained anyone willing to laugh. I even tried one of Winston's cigars. I clowned and mugged my way around the country. At Pressley, Scotland, Francis and I made a fast chorus of "We're Off on the Road to Morocco," which in fact we were. The brass sent us to North Africa. Our troops were on the shores of Casablanca, helping the British and French push back the Nazis, who were led by General Rommel.
Where the troops are, so is Bob Hope. On his way from a 5-week tour in England, Bob and his group land in North Africa to entertain the Allied troops. He's greeted by an appreciative crowd. So are his companions, funny man Jerry Colonna and singing star Francis Langford. The entertainers are mobbed by an enthusiastic crowd starved for entertainment. It doesn't take long for Bob and the gang to give the men what they're waiting for.
Thank you, Colonel. Thank you very much. Very happy to be here. Where the hell are we?
Even in the heat, Francis sent temperatures rising.
It's really a pleasure for me to be able to come out here and sing to these fellas. And I would like to thank you for bringing me along.
Oh, it's nothing at all. It's just my good deed for the day. I guess it's the Boy Scout in me.
It's the first time a Boy Scout ever tried to put his arm around me.
Well, I belong to the Wolf Patrol.
Tell about the time when we first met General Eisenhower.
We were rehearsing a new bit at the hotel lobby, and this fella came up and said, General Eisenhower wants to see you. And I said, no kidding, where is he? Because I hadn't met him yet, and I wanted to see him. And we went over to Eisenhower, and I said, it's great to see you. And he said, I understand you've had quite a bit of bombing. He said, well, you'll be all right here. We haven't had any bombings here for quite a while. Well, that night about 2 a.m., the same thing, bomb, ba-ba-bomb, ba-ba-bomb. So I sent him a little note the next day. He says, thanks for the rest. Our North African adventure was over. The American forces under General Patton and the British forces under General Montgomery had invaded Sicily. We were given the honor of being the first entertainers to be allowed in, only 3 days after the island was captured. The German bombing still continued, so it was an honor we probably could have done without.
What a hotel. I asked for more air last night, and the clerk came up and blew through the keyhole. But I want you to...
We were in Palermo entertaining Patton's Fifth Army, and a guy rolled up in a tank, got out of the tank, took a little stool, set it up on the stage, and folded his arms and looked up at me and said, okay, make me laugh. The attention of the world shifted because everyone knew, including Hitler, that there had to be an invasion of Europe. American troops had been moving across the Atlantic to get to England to help with the attack. We returned to England and arrived in London by train.
I'm very happy to be here. I understand Crosby was here last year. Is that right?
That's right.
Well, I'm here to apologize for him. Here you are.
And Americans jumped at the chance of seeing one of their favorite comedians in the flesh. As usual, Bob was in great form and he soon got cracking.
We've had some grand trips. But it's been wonderful. I'm very thrilled to be here. I really have nothing new to report from the States. You know, the States, that's where Churchill lives. Well, he doesn't exactly live there. He just goes back once in a while to deliver Mrs. Roosevelt's laundry.
Bob, you know, it was always such a relief when you finally got home. The apprehension and anxiety while you were gone was really something. And when I finally got to hug you and kiss you, and I thought of all the wives who still had to wait for their husbands to return. And I thank God that he brought you back in good shape, just for me. Part of your welcome home was always an airport press conference.
The popular Paramount star Bob Hope has just returned from an extended trip where he entertained our frontline troops far from home.
We saw all our boys really doing a sensational job over there. And I mean one of the greatest jobs, fighting for one of the greatest things that we know of. And that's our country, and you can very well be proud of this great country because we have seen the rest of it, ladies and gentlemen. And they're over there doing, well, the job of their lives.
I was back home in Hollywood doing some film. My final radio show for the season was to be at 10 p.m. June 6, 1944. Little did I know, it was D-Day.
This is Bob Hope speaking from a P-38 airfield out here near Van Nuys, California. What's happened during these last few hours, not one of us will ever forget. How could you forget? You sat up all night by the radio and heard the bulletins, the flashes, the voices coming across from England, the commentators, the pilots returning from their greatest of all missions, newsboys yelling in the street, and it seemed that one world was ending and a new world beginning. You sat there and dawn began to sneak in and you thought of the hundreds of thousands of kids you'd seen in camps the past 2 or 3 years. And now you could see all of them again in 4,000 ships on the English Channel, tumbling out of thousands of planes over Normandy and the occupied coast. God bless those kids across the English Channel.
Dear Mr. Hope, I was one of the guys who was on the coast of France on D-Day. You know, when we heard your program that night, it reminded us of home, our folks, our wives, our sweethearts. We knew what we were fighting for. It's hard to laugh and cry at the same time, but what you guys did that night. Thanks, Mr. Hope.
Navy opens Pacific offensive. Corregidor beats off Japs.
In Europe, D-Day had been a success, but in the Pacific, a fierce battle raged on. Every day the headlines screamed out news of the heroic battles. Names like Midway Island, Guadalcanal, Kwajalein became household words. We all hoped and prayed that the war would soon be over. America yearned for peace. But that wasn't to be. It ground on. And I continued to travel all over the state to as many military bases as I could. We did our radio show from a different one each week.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is Bob, Topeka Army Airfield, Hope. This is Bob broadcasting from Fort McPherson in Georgia, Hope, telling you soldiers here in the South to scrub those teeth with Pepsodent and never quit relaxing, and you can always handle that Army food because your teeth will have stone walls, Jackson. This is Bob, Quonset Point Naval Air Station, Quonset Point, Rhode Island, Hope. That's a nice half-hour show by itself, isn't it?
In the meantime, I was getting bags of mail from guys out in the Pacific saying, "Don't forget us." How could we forget them? I got a call from the Department of Defense. They said, "Pack, they need you in the Pacific." I called Francis, Tony Romano, and Jerry Colonna, and I asked this charming young dancer, Patty Thomas, my writer, Barney Dean, to join us. I told them, "Pick up your laundry, we're heading out to the South Pacific." An invitation they couldn't refuse.
The first time I got a call about going with Bob, I was thrilled, and I couldn't believe it.
So we packed our bags and our little band of gypsies was off. Our first stop was Hawaii. The brass took us over to the Jungle Combat Training Center. We got some hands-on experience. I guess they'd seen our act and they knew we needed protection.
Are we winning?
We stayed in Honolulu several days, breaking in the show and getting ready for what was ahead. We introduced what had become a regular part of our show, Patty dancing with one of the guys. It was a big hit. Then the grueling part of the trip began. First stop, Christmas Island. Tarawa.
Well, we've had a lot of fun, haven't we? Traveling around the different installations.
Oh, yes. Say, I want to thank you for taking me dancing last night.
Oh, did you like that? I thought it was very nice, even though it was a little expensive. I thought it was good.
Oh, Bob, don't talk like that. You make me think I spend my money foolishly.
Let's not talk about me anymore. Let's talk about you for a while. Have you seen my latest picture?
You mean the one with Dorothy Lamour?
Oh, yeah, Dorothy Lamour. Oh, there's something there, Dorothy Lamour. Oh, what has she got on me?
Say, Bob,
Yeah.
What has she got on me? What has she got that I haven't got? What has she got on me? What has she got on me?
Be silly, she hasn't got anything on herself. Are you kidding?
Kwajalein.
We've just been here one day, and we've had an exciting time already. This is a lovely joint. This is Coney Island with palms here. This is lovely. But I want to tell you, it's a real thrill to be here. We just happen to have our vacation from our radio show. That's my other racket. Hey, boy. Hey, boy. How do you do? How are you? Glad to see you. Don't stand in front of my audience, please. Unless you're taking a picture of me. Thank you. I want to tell you, I just finished doing your picture. I'm just kidding. It's all right. Take a plane if you want. It's all right. I don't care.
Anahuaytach had been the scene of a very bloody battle, but our guys had won. Worst part about winning was you have to stay there in this malaria-ridden, rat-infested island. I remember when I saw the place, I said to them, "So this is Anahuaytach, huh? What an island. What are we defending this place for? Let them take it. It'll serve them right." No women anywhere. My writer, Hal Canner, who was stationed there, said the guys got crazy just seeing two coconuts together. Imagine our reception when we arrived with Francis and Patty. It felt good to bring music and laughs and girls to places like that.
Wonderful to be here, isn't it, huh? You having a good time in this trip?
Yes, it's really exciting.
It
The
is.
boys have been so wonderful to us.
They have.
You know that last island we were on?
Yes.
One of the boys took me out on the target range.
No, really? Is that right?
He put his arm around me and showed me how to hold a rifle.
No kidding. I didn't know that. Well, what do you
And he
know?
kept his arm around me and he showed me how to aim it.
Oh, he did?
And he kept his arm around me for half an hour and showed me exactly how to fire.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, and then an officer came along and put him in the guardhouse.
Oh. Well, that was too bad.
Yes, we were going to try it again tomorrow with a rifle.
Every time I got a swell head and all their applause, Barney Dean would remind me it didn't any great thing to be more popular than Jungle Rock. I got it on my feet, and Francis got it in her ear. Our troops were battling their way, island by island, closer to Japan for the final assault. We island hopped all over the Pacific. We tried to entertain as many of our guys and our gals as we could.
There's a young lady that's been touring with the USO shows for the past year or so. Grand young dancer from Hollywood and a lot of Broadway shows. I know you'll love seeing her. Her name is Miss Patty Thomas, right here. Let's bring her out with a big hand. Body by Fisher. I want to tell you. Hello.
Hello, Bob.
See what I mean? I knew you'd enjoy seeing her. She also dances. Ladies and gentlemen, Patty, isn't this a wonderful crowd here?
Oh, it's wonderful,
And
Bob.
you look very good today. You look sweet enough to eat.
Oh, Bob, I do eat.
Yes, I know you do. Yes. That's on that bell side, because the camera's over there.
We did basically the same show on each island. After a while, the island and the stages began to look the same. When Patty Simmons showed it on a makeshift stage,
Somewhere in the South Pacific, we present the Bob Hope Show.
sometimes we were lucky and got a stage without wheels.
Thank you. How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is Bob, Mosquito Network Hope. Thanking you boys from Guam, Tinian, and Span for making the Japs take it on the lam. Yes, sir. Isn't it wonderful what you can do on Spam, huh? But I really hope you enjoy our show today. We have a nice show here with Francis Langford, Jerry Colonna, Tony Romano, Patty Thomas, and Barney Dean. I know you'll enjoy the girls. You remember girls? Yes, sir. They're doing very fine. In some of these islands we visited, these girls have been the first to land. Won't Eleanor be mad, huh?
The islands we visited seemed to get smaller and smaller, and the Japanese kept getting closer and closer. We did a show at a place called Numfor, where they based the Black Widow night fighters, and a fella came in with a communique and handed it to the general. It read, "They killed a Jap 200 yards from the stage during the show." And I asked, was he coming or going?
Look at that jungle. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Look at that.
Careful, careful.
Huh?
Snipers.
We were all over the Marshall and the Russell Islands. Here we are on Bonica.
How about getting Miss Langford out here to sing a couple of bars again?
For the memory you Uncle Sammy's crew are many far too few. I wish that I could kiss each and every one of you.
You want to get us trampled to death, are you kidding? What's the matter, you blowing your roof or something?
How about Mr. Jerry Colonna right here? Oh, thanks all you men dressed in khaki. You may think that I'm a bit wacky.
Why don't you get back in the sacky?
There's room for two. Your nose and you.
Miss Patty Thomas right here. Miss Patty.
Thank you for the memory. I hope you liked my dance and found it not too revolting. I was gonna bring my fans, but one of the fans was molting.
Thank you.
The commander on Bonica told us there were a bunch of Marines training on an island called Pavuvu. They were getting ready to invade another island called Peleliu. They said that Peleliu was one of the most dangerous Japanese possessions on the way to Tokyo. We all climbed into Piper Cubs and flew out over the Pacific. When we finally located Pavuvu, we buzzed the baseball field and found 15,000 Marines waiting for us. They cheered each plane. You could just feel the plane rise in that applause. The island had no runway. You had to land on a road. In almost 6 months of training, our Marines on Pavuvu had never had any entertainment. We gave them a great show. Of the 15,000 kids who cheered us in Pavuvu, 40% never got home. Some months later, I was going through a hospital in Oakland, California, doing my regular comedy routine, and this patient, covered with bandages, stuck his hand out and said, "Pavuvu." I greeted him, and then I found out that the whole ward was filled with guys from Pavuvu. At one end of the room, the nurse who was attending to a guy who was just coming out of an operation. He opened his eyes and he said, "Bob Hope, when did you get here?" I couldn't handle that. I had to walk away. That was one of the toughest moments in my life. One of the next places we visited was a small island near New Guinea called Mios Wendy. The sailors who lived there called it Wendy Island. As usual, Patty and Francis were a big hit. The Navy couldn't do enough for them. I went along on a PT boat ride as a chaperone. I think the girls were worried about their hair blowing. Hairdressers were hard to find there. A little later, we did our show in a pouring rain. Pretty routine, but life is full of surprises. Almost 20 years later, in 1963, I had the thrill of being presented the Congressional Gold Medal by President John F. Kennedy.
It's been one of the rarest honors given to Americans, and it's a great pleasure for me, on behalf of the Congress, to present this to you. Got a splendid picture of you. I hope everyone had a chance to look at it and present it to you on behalf of the people of the United States. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
After he gave me the medal, he said, "You know, Bob, I sat in the rain on Wendy Island and watched your show." You can't imagine what a thrill I got realizing that as a young lieutenant, President Kennedy was part of our audience. And then we were off again. Australia. Australia served as Allied headquarters in the Pacific. We did shows there for all the Allied troops. Look at those legs. I also did a pitch for war bonds.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bob Hope. I'm not usually this serious, but what I have to talk to you about is a very serious problem. This matter of bonds. You know, there's a threatening feeling of optimism going on around the world today that is very dangerous to our lives. Places I've been, the talk isn't that way. I've seen a lot of boys fighting and dying and suffering, and they just can't believe that this war will end for a long time. Boys that walk into a hail of lead never ponder, they know it has to be done to save your homes and lives. So let's stand behind them and bring them back, because the sooner we bring them back, the more we'll bring back. Think it over.
We were traveling from Brisbane to Sydney on a Navy Catalina flying boat. I had an idea that it would be a kick to fly that plane. I waited till everyone else in the group was asleep. Then I begged the pilot to let me do the flying. He was a little dubious about turning over the controls to a civilian, but I bribed him and then told him I'd introduce him to Francis. The plane must have found out who was flying, and the left engine conked out. The pilot came racing into the cockpit and said, "Get out of there." He spotted a lake and brought the plane down on the water. It skipped twice and came to rest on a sandbar. We were starting to sink when we saw a small raft rowing towards us. When they saw us hanging from the wings, one of the Australians yelled, "Do you have any American cigarettes there?" Pilot told me later if we'd hit that sandbar first, the plane would have exploded. The military called a hasty press conference.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest artists of all time, Bob Hope.
Thank you. Thank you. He sounds like my agent, isn't that nice? And you say I need no introduction. I certainly needed an introduction in that bay last night, believe me. You know, we had to throw a little stuff overboard. We had a little scotch on for medicinal purposes, and we had to toss that over. And we had to toss some cigarettes over. We were bringing down for you. Cigarettes. And a few things. Miss Langford, Miss Thomas had to throw a few gowns aboard. So we thought this morning, as we passed over, we thought we saw a shark wearing Langford's gown, smoking a Chesterfield, singing "I'm in the Mood for Love."
One of our last stops was a place called Hollandia, New Guinea. The Japanese had invaded it first, but it was in our hands now. Our troops were still fighting all over New Guinea. We didn't know what we were going to meet when we hit the beach there. Boy, were we in for a big surprise. A real stage in a secure area and 20,000 guys waiting for us. It was one of the biggest audience we ever faced in a war zone. I kept wondering who's watching the store. I said, "I'm happy to be here. What part of Miami is this? I don't know how we're going to get home from here. 2 mosquitoes ate our chopper." What the guys loved most were the girls. They were a great morale booster, and for a moment, they were the wives and sweethearts back home. We did a second show that night for a group of Seabees. Palm trees, Blue Lagoon, and Francis sang, "I'm in the mood for love." And one guy stood up and said, "You came to the right place, honey." That's the biggest laugh I ever heard.
Everything we did was fun.
I really felt like I was really doing something, you know, from my country.
The one thing I want from this show, no tears. Everybody must have fun because that's our message. Have a good time.
Anybody care for an autograph? Autograph, autograph, autograph. There we are. Come and get us. Autograph. The other end of the beach. We'll find somebody. I guess so.
We did our Pacific tour during the summer of 1944. Those guys and gals serving our country out there were real heroes. But our tired little group was happy to be headed home. Shortly after we left for home, the war in the Pacific really heated up again.
Jap Armada smashed.
General MacArthur and many of the guys we entertained fought valiantly to rescue the Philippines from the Japanese.
MacArthur seizes Leyte capital.
The Battle of the Leyte Gulf turned out to be a pivotal battle in the Pacific campaign. Images of heroism emerged daily, like the unforgettable picture of the Marines raising the flag on Iwo Jima.
Tokyo bombed.
Meanwhile, in Europe, our troops won battle after battle. And finally, on May 8, 1945, the Germans signed a surrender in Berlin.
Victory in Europe.
About 3 months later, the Japanese surrendered unconditionally. On September the 2nd, 1945, they signed a formal surrender aboard the USS Missouri in Tokyo Bay.
Peace.
At last, the long war was over. All of America celebrated. There were parades. Loved ones ran into each other's arms. Fathers saw children for the first time. And all of America wept for the sons and daughters who would never return. We'll always remember the millions who fought so bravely. We all have our memories. These are mine.
Dear Bob, now may I ask a favor of you, please? When you start your program and crack your jokes, will you kindly speak into the mic, as we missed quite a few of your wisecracks? No reflection meant. We just don't want to miss no part of you. Machinist mate, first class Maloney.
Dear Bob, you talk to us guys like you knew us all your life. The sailors on this ship feel people like you are worth fighting for.
I've been meaning to write you for quite some time, but this Navy routine really keeps a girl busy. It was really grand to see you in person, and I only wish that I could have met you. Now when I hear your program, I always feel that I'm missing something because I remember how you cut up in person. We really need television for you. Just a wave, Dot.
Dear Bob, if and when I return, I'd like to stand at the nearest bar and buy you a drink. Not because you're Bob Hope, but because you are the same kind of guy I've been flying with.
Bob, since you are GI's best friend, do you know some girls that'll write me a letter and send me your picture?
Dear Mr. Hope, thanks for staying in there and giving a hunk of hope. And that's not a pun. To those fellows who are still on the Purple Heart list.
"50 years have passed since I met these guys. During that time, we healed our wounds and reached out our hands in peace. Enemies have become friends, and whole new generations have grown up, protected and nourished by the things they fought and died for. We owe them our lives because they gave us theirs.